Hello techies, so this side Prabhat Singh and I'm basically a DevOps engineer working with a very emerging startup in North India and Delhi, and I have almost 5 years of experience. So as I promised you, as we discussed on, so this is actually my first introduction video. Actually I didn't get much time because it's a very hectic, the whole day work, so I just found some time and I'm just preparing this video here. So you can say this is just an introduction video. Here I'm going to tell you something basics about cloud computing and obviously some basic terminologies in cloud computing, and also we are going to discuss about the current trend in cloud computing and who are the giants, how we the best practices we can say. So we will try to just cover about the introduction. All right, so in my videos, what strategy or planning actually I'm planning to do is I'm just thinking about why don't we make like the definition, like what the cloud computing is, everything you can get and grab on internet. There are lots of websites where you can get all the information regarding the what is the definition of cloud computing and what are good about, like difference in between Amazon Web Services or Alibaba Cloud or maybe Microsoft Azure, or you can say in Google Cloud Platform. So they all are a giant in the market current scenario. So let's start with cloud computing. So in a layman language, so I'm expecting like all of us here are the beginner, even though people are the, obviously there are some people who already working with cloud and all the stuffs, but this video is actually just trying to help out those people with my knowledge actually. So so I'll go with the basics from the scratch. All right, so please do not mind if you already know it, so you can skip this video, there's no problem. But if you're watching it and if you have any suggestions, please just comment in the link or just comment in the comment box, and I'll really appreciate and for your feedback obviously. So let's start with the layman language. So just consider what exactly 10 years, I can say 15 years back, what was happening. For example, there is a guy named James. So James is a techie guy. He was working in a big MNC long back, and after 3 years of working, he got some ideas. He was fed up with his job. He wanted to start something his own because he was really very ambitious, right? So what he did actually, he thought, well, let's go and I'm going to create my own customer relationship tool, CRM tool, and I'm going to sell it in the market. I'll try to talk some companies who are like some services companies, banking or maybe a BPO. So I'll have a words with them and I'll just talk to them with regarding my project. So obviously they will they need a prototype. So what exactly you're looking for in exactly, right? They have certain requirements, what kind of product. So this is all I need. So always remember, when you will prepare a a new website, when you're preparing for a startup or a new business, so one thing which is really important is a prototype model, right? So what happened, James have to make sure like he have an infrastructure ready, obviously. If he don't have, so there are a lot of the other companies who having their infrastructure. He have to buy that space for a, like, and it's going to be really very expensive. I'm talking about this is a scenario in 95 or in 2002 and in 2004. So this was a scenario in the in past period. So that time the problem is like he have to manage a big amount of cost. He have to bear a big amount of investment or capital cost, you can say, to just achieve his plan, to just build something. Obviously, if you're going to just prepare something on a local and just want to test it, how it's going to be work on the on the web. So obviously he need something, a hosting kind or a platform where he's can actually just make exhibition of his creativity, or you can say application or the software. Now, what happened after coming this cloud computing? So I'm giving you again an example before defining it. So what happened? You have already a big company, like your fastest growing company, and you have a good clients and business. But there is always anomalies in your business, always ups and down. It happens. But we all are considering like we have to take care of our data, we have to take care of our server, and we have to make sure that our services is up and running. It have a best durability. It's really very agile for the everything. So we need to take care of everything. And for that, we invest really a big amount. We take care of all of them, our data center obviously, and with the time, this hardware cost is going to be increased because your data is going to be increased with the time. So obviously this cost is actually going to be increased. So cloud, now this term is cloud computing, is really, it's booming. And trust me, this is going to be the future. Just you can say by 2023, I read somewhere like by 2025, we no longer need a person who just do this tape replacement. You must be heard of the server. There are some people who's operation who basically work with a server, just taking care of the servers and data center and everything. No. So what happened, there is a company, I'm just telling you from where it does started, this entire cloud computing. So you must be aware of the Jeff Bezos, right? So yeah, Jeff is one of the richest person you can see on planet now. So he's the owner of Amazon. So there is always a Black Friday sales in United States of America. So what happened in Black Friday sales, Amazon is a really established online marketplace brand in America, also in whole over the world now. And it's one of the, a big giant for an online marketplace. So what he did, he was expecting a big, you can say footfall on the sites. So this is really important because this is a time where people having a big billion day sales kind of thing. So you have to make sure like for that period of time, you're not aware of the traffic. Like you can make assumptions or you can just have a predictions. Okay, I'm going to get this much amount of traffic. But suddenly what happened in 2006, he got a big traffic, a big bunch of people, and the Amazon.com fell down for like 3 hours. Okay, so you know what? That time the falling down of the Amazon for 3 hours, it cost them 3.9 billion, I think. It's approx. Don't go exactly with this, but yeah, it was a huge amount. It was really a huge amount for the 3 hour site down because the entire site goes down and they bear a lot of loss. That time, there was he just asked some of his marketing and some of his financial technical guys in his company. Well, he said why does this just happen? This is the thing actually we makes almost we generate almost 30 to 40% of our entire revenue in this period, like in Christmas and Friday sales. So why did this happens, right? We are paying a lot, we are making take care of our infrastructure. So he said he hired a lot of people, bunch of people all around the world, the best in the architect, best chief technical architect, he hired them. And he just asked them that do some R&D, research and development, obviously acronym for it, I really apologize. So he said do some kind of, research or just give me a solution because I never want this kind of thing to be happen in my, in the future. I just want to avoid it. So that time they prepared some kind of this, they pop up with some solution. Okay, we can do something like for a region, we can create a multiple data centers and we can access, so they said we will come with a, such kind of services where you can have, restricted amount. So this idea, right, that they will going to do something where you can access your server from anywhere. So they planned it for their own product, but there was a guy in his company, Michael, I don't remember his full name, but Michael, yeah. So Michael, what he did, he suggested to the entire panel of Amazon that why, if we are already going to invest that much of amount, why don't we take a risk? Why don't we just invest something more and we can give with some more solution, we can rent our servers, right, to other people. Because they are going to invest a really huge amount. I'm just telling you the initial cost of investment, it was more than 15 billion US dollar. So it's really a big amount for setting up the infrastructure. They said, why don't we just increase the cost and we'll make sure, because there were already some giant companies in America, Decision One is there a company, and there are a lot of companies who used to do this same business. They just rent out a part of their data center to, to a particular company. All right, so he said, yeah, it's not a bad idea. We can take a risk. So business is all about taking risk, right? So he planned it and he finally launched his first product, which was object storage. You must be heard of it, S3. And trust me, you must be aware of the Dropbox. But okay, so you must be aware of the cloud storage, which we call Dropbox. So what Dropbox is basically you place your files there, right? It was really very old thing. I just started using it, I think in 2009. I started using, I think 2009 or 10. So I started using Dropbox and it becomes very famous because you upload the things and just forget about it. You can access it anywhere on the globe. Whenever you want, you can access your resources without any trouble. So Dropbox is entirely, its a backbone is actually S3. Simple storage services is one of the product of Amazon introduced, and they got really amazing feedback because its availability is really high, and they place as the access is global, but still for the data uploading and for the just for other things they just come with this solution, like you can place a region from where you're going to upload the data, or you can just for the uploading the data you have option that you can choose, but the service is global. You can access it anywhere around the world. All right. So now come for this again the definition of the cloud computing. So in layman language, I will say, consider like you're living in an apartment. It's a 20th floor apartment. So there is a builder named Ryan Builders, right? So what they did, they just invested a big amount of money to just build a tower. It's a tower. You have a studio apartment, you have a office space, and you have a lot of things. You have a shopping complex, you got an ATM, or you got a lot of things. So he prepared the entire building, or you can say the infrastructure, by his own investment. Now what he did, he just start marketing of it. He said, okay, you're looking for an office space. Obviously, if you're going to buy, you're just going to just create your own office. So you need a lot of things. You need approvals from the government bodies. You also need land, obviously. So there is a land, and obviously you're looking for a particular location. You must need some kind of a builder who is going to build your house, a contractor. You need a lot of resources to build it, and maintenance and taking care of it, a lot of things. Now what he builder did, he just created everything, and he promised like the services after when we purchase this office space, it just as pay as you give. So basically, for example, if you're using it for a month, so you will get just for a month bill, right? So your builders say, okay, there is no kind of such agreements. They do have some options, but he said, it's really reliable. You can use it. You have a lot of options. You want a small office space, you want a 1 BHK apartment, or you just want 3 BHK, or you can customize it, right? He gave you this facility, you can say. Now there are a lot of people who really appreciate it, and they started okay, so this is something like they comes and they shifted, they started, so they don't need to worrying about it, how I'm going to start my website. They don't need to, they got a plan, they just went out, they just say I need an office space, and I'm going to they rented it for a month. If they find out like, okay, this is suitable, okay, I'm getting some profit, I'm getting some positive feedback, they started it, and these things started working. People without, so now if you compare the same scenario with cloud computing again, so imagine you are a developer, you are creating a dating app, right? So preparing a dating app like Tinder, you got an idea, you got some special thing about, so what you did, you're a developer, you created your Android app or maybe iOS app. Now for the hosting, you are thinking about, where do I go? Should I go for GoDaddy, where I have less administration? You must be aware of GoDaddy does not provide you a server administration. You get like on cPanel, you have a file manager, you can edit your code, you can edit your backend code, but you do not have a server administration. You cannot decide, or you cannot customize what kind of AMI is going, like an image of image is basically operating system and its dependencies, right? So you cannot decide everything, you do not have access to it, but yeah, GoDaddy just provide you the hosting. That way exactly the hosting trend is. But now there are people who are independent. What they do, they just migrating from these kind of hosting, web hosting, they are migrating to AWS, because if you are really good at a basic of understanding of AWS, pricing models, right? So because I'm hosting myself. I have two websites, and I'm hosting them just like an annual cost of maybe probably $1,300, 1,300 INRs, which equals to almost, you can say, around 20 $25. So it's really very cheap for me. I'm just hosting it, and I do not need to worry about anything because they already have a lot of things to provide. Now comes to this, like what basically now what kind of services, why Amazon is so booming up. So yeah, that's true. Like Amazon have almost 70% of cloud market, and rest will go with Google cloud platform, you can say, and maybe Azure or maybe Alibaba. Alibaba is actually very new, but they are, because they invested a lot, so their services is going to be obviously sometime very better, because they are opening very shortly in Mumbai their first data center. So you will get shortly a very good feedback on Alibaba cloud as well. Now here comes with Amazon. So first product was S3 storage product. It was just a object storage. Don't consider it as there will be a file system, or you can have a file and subfolder and anything. No, you just create a bucket. There is some limits on the bucket. We will discuss those things in details soon. But you can just consider like this kind of story they have.